like it's a group effort. You know, we need traffic and traffic needs offers, and bad traffic won't help a good offer, and a crappy offer can't be saved by the best traffic.
Yeah.
So there needs to be a meeting of the minds kind of in the middle of like, here's the levers that we pull on each side to impact each other and not all try to be the hero.
Welcome, affiliated listeners, to another special in-person episode of the Affiliated Podcast. And today, guys, we are going to be talking with one of my most favorite people to talk to in the marketing industry, and somebody that every single business owner should be paying attention to right now, because I know this because I hear it from you all the time. We're going to be covering what do you do when everything in your offer feels like it's wrong, it's broken. You don't even know where to start because you just know it's not working. So we're going to take those broken hearts, those sad minds, and we're going to give you a solution today. And that isn't just a marketer's promise. That is a real promise because of our guest. And we are joined today by the amazing, the incomparable, and maybe sometimes repeat or replicated, but never actually replicated. I said that wrong. Repeated, but not replicated. Duplicated, not replicated. Anyway. Amanda Dobson. Sorry, we were going good, and then I just had to trip all over myself.
Yeah, that's all right.
So, Amanda, great to have you here. And this is your third time in Boise? How many times in Boise have you been here?
Yeah, this is my third time in Boise.
Third time. I don't know how I was able to guess that so precisely, but
yeah.
And this is really great. And we actually have a special wine for Amanda, the affiliated wine specifically. So, where do I show the camera here? So the reason we had this is we actually hit a milestone with the new channel and kind of the new podcast stuff. But you're a very unique guest, not only because of the amazing things you share, but Amanda was, I think, the first guest that we've had that actually was a part of a now defunct series that we did what Makes You Click forever ago, probably in 2018 sometime, when we all looked younger and were less wise. I had color in my hair back in that time frame. So, different times. But I thought it was really apropos to you to celebrate. This is actually the first time this wine has been drank on the episode. Even by me. So let's see how it goes.
I feel like it's one of those things where do I have to pretend that it's good? It actually is good, but I'm like, I'm going to make a face.
You should do whatever. Listen, we're all about authenticity. So if you're like, that sucks, you would say it. Man, I've already said 2 quacks in a row. So, Kelly, it's what you have to deal with. So, quack, quack, baby. No, I think it is. I'll put it this way. It seemed the bottle obviously said elegance and said, hey, this is going to be really good. But sometimes you worry. You worry, is the substance going to be there? And like Amanda, beautiful on the surface, the substance is also there. So perfect pairing.
I feel like it was very daring of you to bring me on the podcast and give me liquor on the podcast, because this could get unhinged really quickly.
I hope so. That's the hope of all things. So, let's talk a little about the unhingedness. So real fast, just because I could obviously gas you up how amazing you are in terms of the first time we met. And I remember being like, you're one of the first marketers that made me go, this was sitting next to Perry, but I was like, the way her brain works, I just want to understand it more. Maybe it's because I wanted to be a lawyer once and you actually were. So, but give us kind of the abridged version of how you've kind of found your start in this industry and what you do as a CRO expert, which I'm going to actually redefine and say just a marketer's marketer at the end of the day.
Honestly, a school of hard knocks. As soon as I got my start in marketing, I became an affiliate manager because of Amber Spears, love you to death. I became an affiliate manager and then a marketing director in the health supplement space. I was dealing in all natural supplements. Then I went, if you can imagine, into guns and survival.
Yeah.
So it has been a lesson in just learning the hard way, in the sense that I have had to navigate around restricted categories, every regulation you could possibly imagine. I've had to deal with compliance. I've had to deal with not being able to make bold claims and having to have that emotional, compelling offer and really understanding human psychology, which is kind of what built the foundation for CRO, because I learned that it's not necessarily the big claims that actually get people to make a buying decision. In fact, most of the time it's not. So it's just been I think that's been kind of the fast track for me. And it's just been a whirlwind of, frankly, having the opportunity to be in businesses, spending a lot of money. At Agora Financial, we were spending $300 million a year on ads, in a $2 billion business, $2 billion a year business in the financial space. We were in multiple countries selling all kinds of financial stuff, supplements, you name it. So it's really just, I've lit a whole lot of money on fire to be able to learn what I've learned. But what's interesting is being, in so many different industries and markets and dealing with so many different avatars, I have learned the consistencies across all of them. So what works in one industry may work in another if you know what elements to look for. It's not always going to be the same and things aren't always going to work the same, but human psychology doesn't change. Like the way that our bodies biologically are wired doesn't change. So the way we make decisions doesn't change. So it's really great to be able to see that and take that across multiple businesses. And I just love working with ClickBank and with all of my clients, obviously, because I learn with all of the offers that I see. I know you guys are in our group coaching program, but it's like, as much as I love providing help for other people, seeing behind the curtains and actually seeing real data. And I know we're going to talk about like real data in a minute, but it's just like knowing the numbers and really making smart decisions off of that and seeing that across multiple businesses is really like I've cut 10 years off of my career just being able to kind of fast track that.
Well, first off, thank you for burning all that money so we don't have to. And we could all learn and benefit from it.
It was someone else's money. It wasn't even mine. That's the best.
Yeah.
Thanks for the 6-figure education, everybody.
Well, I was going to say, what I really, really love, though, that you said here, and I think this is something that rings so true, is human behavior is human behavior. So history does not repeat itself, but human beings tend to behave the same way all the time. So when you unlock that, I think it's one of the things we've always connected with. That's when you could start extracting a lot more out of your marketing, which I think really apropos to what we want to talk about today. But I want to give you one thing. I think you adopt this even better than I've tried to give it to myself. You should, instead of being CR expert, I want you to flip it to you are a marketing anthropologist. You study marketing across all industries and all businesses only to extract the parts that are the most impactful and apply it to new businesses.
I sometimes tell myself that I've learned master manipulation for all of this because I know what makes you tick.
Yes.
I can get a result in pretty much any scenario.
I love that.
So,
I
mean.
Well, let's talk about that. It's perfect transition. So one of the biggest things we've been seeing right now is we're very much so and have been for probably about the last 2 years, a changing season. We're seeing the markets rapidly shift underneath our feet, whether it's buying behavior, whether it's advertising changes, whether it's what works, or even having enough money to buy on tier 1 social networks. Because, man, like everything else, it feels like it's gotten more expensive. So one of the things I'm hearing right now is so many people are coming to events or just reaching out saying, hey, everything's on fire. Give me hope, right? So I think one of the things is lots of times people, when they think things are on fire and broken, they're not necessarily, or we just have to understand what that next step should be. And you probably get the fires. You get the Burning Man all the time coming up to you saying, Amanda, can you save me? So let me kind of walk through. I'd like to talk about this today and this concept. What is that like? And like, what's the first steps you take when you have the person that's coming to you and say, everything's broken, can you save me?
Yeah, I mean, the first is give me the raw data sources. Don't give me the reports that your media buyer gave you. Don't give me the reports that your director of marketing or your marketing team gave you. I want the unskewed, unbiased, give me the raw data to look at. Because like you said, like a lot of times when I have business owners come to me, their business is on fire, they're looking at the wrong lens. They're really so close to giving up on a business that their vanity metrics are my worst nightmare. So this is one of those, what's your day one?
Yeah, define vanity metrics.
Like the metrics that actually don't guide the success or failure of your business, but ultimately are ones that people focus on. So it's, I deal with this a lot. That's like, oh, like I've optimized my cost per lead, but they're not buying. And I'm like, that's because you're focused on the wrong metric. You're literally optimizing for a cheaper customer, but in that process, you're getting a cheaper customer. They're not buying as much as frequently. So it's like the more you focus on your cost per lead, I would rather look at our overall ROI and look at that average order value versus the cost per lead, because I can tell you I pay 3 times more for a lead knowing that it's going to convert, equally as high. So it's just one of those things where when you're focused on the metrics that are what the marketing industry is telling you should focus on versus what actually ends up with money in your bank account, that's where I start to, finagle the numbers a little bit and look at, okay, what are the guiding metrics in your business? What is actually causing revenue to come in the door? And where can we afford to be more aggressive to get to kind of like back into that net result, if that makes sense?
Yeah, no, I think that's so beautifully said. And especially I think the big thing there is getting to the raw numbers. So let me ask this, like, can you think of any examples where like in businesses, they were getting, and not like intentionally nefarious, but they were getting bad signals through their data from their media buyers or whoever. And once you got in the raw numbers, it told a very different story.
All the freaking time. All the freaking time. I have a client right now that I'm working with And they brought their media buyer on the call, and she's so excited. She's like, "Hey, I got our cost per book call down to this." I can't remember what the number was off the top of my head, but she was so excited about all these book calls. And then I'm asking on the back end, well, how many of those calls actually showed up and how many of those actually converted into the offer? And it turns out that they had like a 10% show up rate on their booked calls. And when I look at her numbers, she's like, yeah, but I got our cost per lead down by 40%. And I'm going, what difference does that make? That tells me that you're targeting people that don't have the money to spend on the core offer. So my challenge is to you is like, let's go, we talked about this a little bit earlier today. Let's create premium audiences for our premium products and expect to pay premium prices for our lead. This is not, I would rather spend more money for a lead that actually has a chance of showing up to a call and converting versus making myself feel good because I've generated a lot of cheap leads. I've got a list of cheap leads, but ultimately didn't get me the end result. So it's really easy for media buyers to get excited. It's not just media buyers either. Every KPI in your business has this problem. But media buyers get really excited about the metrics that they can generate, not recognizing that those things carry on further down in the buying process. And they don't necessarily control those numbers or what happens further on down the process. So, when they say, like the first thing that happens in that scenario is the media buyer says, hey, I booked all these calls. This was our cost per lead and this was our cost per book call. They're super excited about that. And then internally they're saying, well, it's your marketing team's problem that they couldn't convert those leads. When we know, like, it's a group effort. We need traffic and traffic needs offers, and bad traffic won't help a good offer, and a crappy offer can't be saved by the best traffic.
Yeah.
So there needs to be a meeting of the minds kind of in the middle of like, here's the levers that we pull on each side to impact each other and not all try to be the hero in this scenario. And I think that is the biggest thing. And especially like I love media buying agencies. I've got a lot of friends that own agencies, but a lot of times they're trying to justify their value and their worth. So they really want to like hit those numbers that you've given. And most of the time you've probably given them those numbers arbitrarily. You're like, this is what my cost per lead should be. This is what my cost per book call should be. This is how many leads I need to generate a month. When you're actually not stepping back and looking at like, what does a good lead that shows up on a call actually cost me? And that's what I should be budgeting for.
Yeah.
Like, what is that conversion event that lead ultimately needs to transition into? And how do I optimize for that?
Yeah, no, totally. That makes I really love that because I think, again, it just comes down to what do you actually do and how do you actually make money? Because I think this is where a lot of brands and I think businesses get really confused. They're doing what other people are doing, assuming it'll make them money without ever asking if they actually are.
I both hate and love this when it happens because finding those little gems. I've got a little story. If we've got a minute, I'll share. I had a client recently and they were super excited about this offer. They're like, they've got this physical products funnel. They want to build it out. It's a supplement funnel from beginning to end, a very low margin funnel, but it's like a very passion project for the business. It's something that they had wanted to create for a really long time. But they're struggling in their business. So I'm stepping back and I'm like, okay, let's take a look at the numbers. Let's see what's actually driving revenue for you. And it turned out when we dug into their numbers, they had a continuity program it was a $27 a month continuity program, which is, again, like this is going to be a volume play, not a quality of buyer play. That was converting, once someone came out of their 6-week coaching program, it was converting close to 90%. And people were sticking around for 18 months. And I'm like, girl, you have buried the lead. This is what you want to be doing in your business, and this is what is actually making your business money. Can you separate what in your mind you should be doing versus what your data is telling you is actually going to drive your business forward? You have buried the lead. So now, rather than focusing on optimizing this one funnel together, let's focus on optimizing the entry point into this offer that's converting like gangbusters already. Let's work with the momentum we already have and not just figure out entry points, but what exposure do they need? Because this offer worked so well because it was behind a coaching program. So they've already purchased, they've already had an experience and a transformation with her. How do we create that experience in a way that makes this more accessible for other people? And how do we just pile volume into this? Because I would tell you to stop doing everything else in your business. This is high margin, it's info, it's easy to deliver, and people love it. They already have people in the group that are raising their hands being like, let me be an ambassador for this. Like, let me help you run this group. And I'm like,
that's the hardest part. The hardest part's already done.
It is. But sometimes you need someone to come into your business, and like it's a program that had been running on its own for so long they weren't even thinking about it.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
they thought that problem had been solved.
They thought that problem had been solved, but they weren't looking at that as like, in their mind, their business was one thing, but their business is telling them it's actually another thing.
Yeah.
And I think like I run into that the most. Like I don't love having to tell business owners that they are the problem. But a lot of times the business owner is the problem. Like they either want to be the hero, and I gotta, please don't cancel me for this. But like they either want to be the hero, they want to protect their own ego. They're too scared to actually share the realities of their numbers to be able to get help. They want to skew numbers and make themselves sound really good. They can join all the masterminds in the world, but they go in and thumping on their chest talking about how amazing they are, but their offers never get any better. So it's so good to have someone kind of come in and hold your feet to the fire and be like, let's look at the data and actually like forget everything we're being told about what we should have, what type of offers we should have, and what our business should be. Let's look at what our customers are responding to. Let's look at what they're buying, and then let's build more of that. Let's build the business around that.
So obviously the solution, if you have the question, what my business is on fire, it's just call Amanda and pay whatever she tells you to. No, but so let's, for those
call me before it gets to that point. We can fix things, but let me tell you, call me before chaos hits.
So the chaos is hit. Let me answer. So for those that they get access to the raw data and they don't have you, but what would you tell them? Like, what should they look for? How should they skim, or what should they be looking for in their numbers to kind of find that language? I know that's kind of hard because lots of times it's like, I know it when I see it. But if you could describe pornography in a way Congress couldn't and give us a real answer of what you would do to kind of
my 7-year-old.
Yeah. Be able to go say, hey, like, okay, what are some actionable steps I could take in this data?
Yeah. I mean, normally when someone comes to me and they're like, my business is on fire, nothing is working anymore, I say to them, stop expecting things to be the same way that they always have been. You have more competition now. You have stricter rules on the platforms. You cannot expect today what you could expect a year ago, 3 years ago, 5 years ago. We are not on the same field anymore. We're not even playing the same game anymore. So my advice is usually, and not all businesses have the luxury to do this, so this is not a one-size-fits-all solution, but adjusting the expectation of your break even and understanding the need for flexibility there. So I'll give you a really good example. Clients come to me in the OSHA compliance space. So they're dealing with info products. They were looking at their business going like, we have to worry about profitability of this business. Like, I don't know if this is a viable business anymore. And I'm going, well, give me your raw data. Let's look at the customer behavior, because in their mind, the solution was, let's either squeeze as much money as we can out of the initial cart. Let's get average order value up. Let's slam as many order bumps as we can and upsells, cross sells, whatever you want into this funnel to squeeze as much as we can out of that first purchase. Or we minimize the time from the first purchase to the second purchase. And so rather than 60 days, let's get it down to 40 days so that we can kind of maintain that ROI. But
accelerating cash forward is what they're
Yeah, so they're really focusing on like, we're never going to get another crack at this. Let's squeeze everything we can out of them. But when I look at the data, I'm like, hey, like you guys know that if I look at your data 12 months out, like at 12 months out, you're at about 4K in lifetime value for like your kind of top.
That is wild. Yeah. In info space, that's wild.
In the info space. And if I look 18 months out, you know, you're between $6,000 to $7,000, and you've got an absolute list of whales. They have whales on their list that are spending $600,000 over a period of a couple of years on their business. Cow. And I'm going like, I understand that you want to optimize your purchase on the front end and get everything you can, but I also can see the return purchase rate, and I can see what the lifetime value of customers are once you're in the door. I want to make the barrier to entry as low as possible, because I know your return path is where your money is right now. We all know the money is in the list, but these guys are like, they're like, oh, our business isn't viable if we can't get ROI like in the first couple of weeks. And I'm like, but if you can manage your cash flow well enough to be able to get to the 8-month, 12-month, 18-month mark, like this is a cash cow. Like if you can manage your money well and you can, you know, bring forward that lifetime value and be able to spend that up front, you have the data. Like they've been doing this for 25 years.
Oh my gosh.
You have 25 years worth of data in front of you that is saying like, this is absolutely what works.
Yeah.
Like
you're a controller away from like, that's a massive exit.
You are not playing the same game as everybody else is.
No.
But I would challenge, like if you're watching this podcast, to look at your numbers and change the lens of what you're looking at. And keeping in mind, like I am understanding of cash flow. Sometimes people only have a credit card cycle, you know, to get to ROI, because like cash flow is a real thing.
Yeah.
But if you look at your data and allow yourself to be more aggressive and saying like, hey, actually in 6 months, this is what my numbers look like. This is what it looks like in 12 months. This is what it looks like in 18 months. Like, what's broken might not be broken. The way you're looking at it might be broken, or what you expect out of it might be broken.
Yeah. You know, so many good things there. I really even love, like, even if you think it's a cash flow problem, it might be, But that could be an easier solve than maybe what your other problems you think are happening in your business are. One of the things I love that I think really people need to take out of this, if you're feeling this way right now, and you said is like what worked 3 years ago, sometimes even a year ago, doesn't work anymore. Stop thinking that it will.
Yep.
Like we can't wait for the white horse to come back and just return to us with all the riches.
It's like Friday Night Lights, like you're reliving that last football game. It doesn't like the world moves on, and like you're either going to stay with a sinking ship or you're going to get with the times. You're going to be flexible in your business, and you're going to actually drill down again, like take the blinders off of what you think your business is. And sometimes sometimes what I do isn't even like what I would call smart work. I'm just like, I'm the unbiased third party that can look and see what you're not seeing because you're too close to it. And I'm guilty of it in my own businesses. It's like sometimes like I'll call you or I'll call, someone that I'm like, hey, this is what I'm doing. Like, can you pick holes in this for me?
Yeah.
Because like I'm too close to it. I'm emotionally attached to this. I'm invested in this. So I want to make this look the way that in my mind it looks when the data is the truth. And it's going to tell me with everything in it exactly the way that it is. And like my ability to accept and respond to that is going to be, the recipe for success versus like trying to shove a square peg in a round hole.
Yeah, because basically working with you is paying you to not care about my feelings, but only care about my business in a way that no one around me probably can do.
Yeah.
Very few people have somebody that's attached from the emotions of you with the success of your business. And that's why that could be so valuable.
I've only made one person cry.
Only one.
Only one.
So far.
It was a man. I made a man cry. Dom was there for it. I was doing a hot seat, and it was that exact same scenario. He had invested everything he had into this offer, and it was like his brainchild, and he was so sure that what he had was going to work, and he just like wasn't willing to accept that the data was telling them that he needed to make a change. And it's like, it is the funny thing is like the data is the answer.
Yeah.
It's not challenging you. It's not hurting you. It's literally saying, just kidding, do this instead.
Yeah.
Like it's the answers in the back of the textbook.
Yeah.
It's right there.
The proof, it's the truth. Our ability to see it is really where analytics comes in, right?
Yeah.
Data is truth, but we have to accept it.
Yeah.
And that comes through analytics. So,
And I failed math twice in high school. If I can do this.
Yeah.
You
know what's funny? Getting the data and reading the data are two completely different skill sets. So, as we kind of circle this back, because I think one of the things that is just so impactful is right now, if things are struggling for you, they're probably not struggling as bad as you think they are. And you need to look, it sounds like what I see is like, go to this with a lens of white snow. No path has been made, and let the numbers tell you where you would go. Strip the products away from it. Just give them assigned numbers that you don't even know.
Yep.
Read the numbers and try and say, hey, what is doing well? What actually makes sense in my business? And I would build from there. That's kind of what you're saying too. I think that makes a ton of sense. So with this, unfortunately we were having a great time, so we're a little bit compressed on time. I realize we need to have you get back again so we could spend like 90 minutes talking about some stuff.
I know, like I have like a whole mental lineup.
I know. I'm so
this.
excited to want to go more. So, but here's what I really, really want people to do is like, this is just like a taste of what even interacting with you is like. So there's other places for people to get a hold of you and be able to have this. You mentioned you have the CRO group that I love hopping on with. It's a really fantastic group for great ideas. And there's even some other exciting things you're doing in terms of Mastermind, which I cannot wait because I think that is the coolest thing ever. And if there's a person that was meant for the best mastermind you've ever been to, it would be you. So, but with that, can tell the people how they could get a hold of you, how they could interact with you, and follow a little bit more to get this expanded wisdom on their fingertips all the time.
Yeah, I mean, Amanda K. Dobson on wherever you absorb your socials. Steve Sims, who's a great friend of mine who just passed away, made me streamline all of my social media. So it's Amanda K. Dobson on all of my social media channels. He'd be so proud of me for actually doing that. But yes, you can follow along for free advice. Guesswhat1.com is my free CRO newsletter. So every week I break apart that week's split test that I've been running. I also, bring on some of the readers and run split tests for them as well and feature them in the newsletter. And then I like to do this fun little section. It's always my favorite, called Lessons from the Labs. And it's like where I like to do just like a little bit of general, like, this is what I'm seeing, because I see this in so many businesses, markets, industries. Like I kind of compile the down into like, here's the the streamlined version of what I'm seeing and how you can implement it. Sometimes it's AI related, sometimes it's not, but it's always like here's the information and then here's how to implement it in your business. So it's really fun. I love doing that.
Yeah.
It's like my way of like giving everybody access to free information.
I will test. It's awesome. Like I think most of the time I either send the question or at least ask a question and start thinking about whatever is in the lab area. So I enjoy
Yeah,
that
and
a
on
lot.
the back end of that, I've got our AB Insiders, which I know you're a part of. And it's a really great solution for offer owners that maybe aren't ready for like a full mastermind or a full size marketing team, but want to be able to have access to both my brain, but the group is such an amazing group of people. So everybody in the group coaching program is a resource and also looking for resources. So it's I don't even call it a group coaching program. That's like really inaccurate. It's actually like a workshop. We pull up offers, we workshop new solutions, and then we run the test and we go through the results the following week. So, you sign up, you're getting results right out of the gate. So it's the most gratifying thing I've ever done. And then I just launched the winners table, which is amazing. I'm so excited about that. So I don't know if you listening are as sick of masterminds as I am, but I am so tired of like the chest bumping and the weird themed nights and the
No costume parties?
no costume parties. It is like I'm introverted. I want to do the thing. I want to go home. I want to be away from my family as little as possible, and I want to like make sure that it's worth it. So that's my promise to everyone in the winner circle. To join the mastermind. It's one of those like if you cannot come into the mastermind and we cannot workshop something together, that you go home and ROI that event immediately. Like I will work with you one-on-one until we actually get it there, because I believe so much in what the group can do. So it's like it is for offer owners that want to be on the cutting edge, that want to be iterating on their offers and want to work in a really high level group doing really in-depth CRO, who want to go behind the curtains and look at all of their numbers, who want to be able to remove the blinders and be able to have that input from other business owners that are kind of in the same stage as them. Yeah. So it's like I'm super proud of that, because the market needs it so badly right now, and it's just like the one thing that I can do to help other business owners.
A protected space with high-level people that just want to make their businesses better is shockingly hard to find, but I know the winner's circle is going to be, or winner's table is going to be all about it. Let me not already mess up on the names. So, guys, it's Amanda K. Dobson, all the socials. Follow all of them. We literally just scratched the surface. We didn't even talk about culture, true crime. Such missed opportunities. I know. What? We will have you back. I promise. Definitely do everything we can for that. This is really great. Really appreciate the time. Follow her. Join the groups. You need to join everything from the newsletter to the mastermind. If you're at that level, because I'd say you probably have to be at the right business to even get in. And if you can, you will be so, so happy. As someone's known Amanda for years, I've never left a conversation thinking that wasn't valuable. So, and today is exactly the same. So with that, I want to thank you so much for being here. Thank you for enjoying Boise with the time that you have here, even though Russell brought you out here, but we'll steal you.
You're capitalizing.
We'll steal you. So fantastic. As we say, guys, please rate, review, subscribe. If you have any questions for Amanda too, and you don't want to reach out and slide into her DMs, feel free to email us at affiliated@clickbank.com, and we could forward that information over to her unless it sucks, and then we'll just tell you that. So with that, rate, review, subscribe. As Thomas would say, happy scaling, and I will tell you, be safe out there. Until next time, thanks so much.
Bye.
Woo.